Hey there. So my next guest has overcome and is honestly still experiencing some incredible challenges and trials, but she's not letting them hold her back. In fact, she's thriving over them. She's overcoming them and allowing other people to learn from her as she's it seems that she's on a mission to help others in her same situation. This is truly a heart-moving episode, and I know you all are going to love this one. Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the Gamerpreneur podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Bradford Carlton. Today, I have a very special guest for you. I have Jaime Neal, aka FaultyCodeGamer. Hey there. How's it going, Jaime?
It's going pretty well. Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday to you. And where do you hail from?
Originally, I'm from Long Island, New York, but now I live in South Carolina.
Okay, that's quite a shift.
Yeah.
How's the weather?
Oh my gosh. Definitely different. It was a change when I first moved here. I've lived here for 11 years now. So in the beginning, it was definitely a shock, but I probably wouldn't move back if someone asked me to. My life is definitely here now.
I lived in Ohio for 9 years. And I don't think you
Oh
could
my
pay me
goodness.
enough money to go back to the Great Lakes.
Can you imagine?
All right, so Jaime, I like to get this show started just getting right into it. So would you mind telling us a little bit about yourself, please?
Okay. Well, my name is Jaime Neal. You spell that Jaime. Not the traditional Jamie. My mom wanted it spelled that way because it's from the French word for to love, je t'aime. So she also likes to joke that she ruined me for life because I can never find my name spelled on anything. So I'm also the oldest of 3 siblings.
Okay.
I have a younger brother and a younger sister who I love dearly. I have a wonderful husband and a wonderful son. And when I'm not content creating, I usually spend most of my time with them. I'm definitely a family person. For me, family is everything.
Fantastic. Okay, so you gave me a lot to unpack there, but before we do, I want to ask you a question I ask everybody else. So don't feel that you're special. Everybody gets this question. So on a scale of
And
one,
I knew I was going to get this question, so I actually had to ask my husband his opinion. I had to get a second opinion on this.
I mean, it's not like I asked this at the beginning of every single episode. If you've watched any of my episodes, I make a big old deal about it.
I did my homework. I actually watched the episode with my friend D Comstock. So I knew what I was in for.
All right, but for my new listeners, I have to ask so they know what we're talking about, joking about here. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being high, how weird are you, Jaime?
So apparently I'm anywhere from a 6 to a 6.5.
Well, that's not too bad. Why is that?
Because I'm a very laid back person. My husband attributes it to what he calls my dude level.
Okay.
I'm very I don't want to say that I'm not ladylike. I'm just chill. And apparently I'm what I can always be like one of the guys.
And
So
that
he likes to
somehow
call
makes
that
you
my dude
weird.
level.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
That was his answer when I asked him. So I'm just gonna go with that.
Well, I would never trust a husband's opinion, personally.
I mean, we've been together 10 years now, so at this point, I would think he would know.
It reminds, so anytime my wife asks me anything like that, it reminds me of that scene from that 70s show where like Red's reading the paper and she comes up and asks him something. He goes, "Oh, is that what we're gonna do today? We're gonna fight, huh?"
This is the hill you want to die on.
All right. So, Jaime, this is the gamerpreneur. So, I do need your gaming cred. And I see you got the Twitch hat on. But
Yes.
when did you first start
And
playing video games?
I don't know, you can't see it, but I've got my this is me.
Beautiful.
My mascot.
I love it.
So I came to represent today.
Okay. When did you first start playing video games?
Oh gosh, that's a very good question. I don't know if I can put an exact age to it. Um, I think like most kids in my, I hate to say this, generation, um, it was probably either Pokemon or The Sims. I remember my very first Pokemon game was Pokemon Gold, and I remember playing that on my Game Boy Color to death. I loved that game. No, I stand corrected. It was Pokemon Crystal that I got, and I loved that game because that was the first game that came out that had a female trainer sprite, and I was so excited.
I had forgotten that. I think that was the last Pokemon game I had gotten up until XY. So that's I had forgotten that was the first female sprite. That's
But
fantastic.
yeah, I just remember being like seeing that I was finally able to play as a female trainer and being so excited and like begging my parents to get it, that I could have it for Christmas because I could finally play as a female trainer because it meant that much.
I it's funny because I'm fairly certain I begged the crud out of my parents too. Pokemon was a
Right.
movement. It wasn't just a game.
Oh yeah, and even today, my son, like he and I have bonded over Pokemon.
Does that feel weird at all? The game
Um,
that essentially you started with is what your son's playing too.
I mean, it does and it doesn't because it's definitely given us something to, like I said, excuse me, bond over. Like I have little Eevee figures here on my desk, and he actually gave me this one because he knows it's my favorite.
That
So, like that's something that's very special to me.
that's wonderful. Okay, what do you play today?
Oh, well, currently I'm playing Among Us, as I'm
Who
sure
isn't?
like everybody isn't, and Borderlands. So that's a far cry from Pokemon.
The first Borderlands?
Um, well, I actually started with Borderlands 2, and I know that's a little odd, but
I started the pre-sequel, so no, it's all right.
I'm playing the current one. I'm playing Borderlands 3.
Okay, fantastic.
Um, I'm a little stuck because one of the bosses is giving me a little trouble, but I do intend to finish it.
Okay.
So
And
I'm loving the game. I love Borderlands. It's probably one of my favorite franchises.
it's hilarious. The
It's
jokes are
so
nonstop. I was
yeah,
about to
the
ask, is your son
references.
even like old enough to be around that game?
Mhm.
Okay.
The references in the games are just, I think that's what makes the humor.
Oh yeah. Okay. One more gaming question, then we'll talk more about your stream life, your content
Okay.
creation life. Um, all-time favorite game.
Oh, wow. That's definitely difficult. Mm. I would say it would have to be different games for different reasons.
Well, that
Like
doesn't
if
answer the question.
I know. Um, I know I said Borderlands, but it would have to be Borderlands 2. And that's because I had a lot of emotion playing that game. That was the first like really big game I played on my channel, and it gave my channel so much. It spawned so many like memes on my channel, and just there's just a lot of happy memories tied to that game that I can't replace.
Fantastic. Let's talk about your channel, Faulty Code
Okay.
Gamer.
Yes.
When did you decide to start that?
Um well, I started streaming a little over a year ago. Um my very first stream was actually on National Women's Day on 2019, and I picked that day for that exact reason. So it's been about a little over a year.
Okay, and what got you into it? Like, what's your backstory?
Well, I have chronic illnesses. I have 3 chronic illnesses. I have epilepsy, hydrocephalus, and one that affects my veins. And part of the reason why I wanted to stream was because I knew that having this public platform would be one to kind of like get that message out there, to be like, hey, this is something that's affecting people and we can help. So, and I've actually met other streamers doing what I do. I've met other streamers who have the same diseases that I do, the same illnesses that I do. And I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have met them if I hadn't started that activist like side of what I do.
That's
And
great.
it's just, it's very filling.
And what made you decide to do that? Obviously, there had to have been some sort of impetus.
Well, right now, today is actually game day for Extra Life. And for those of you who don't know, Extra Life is an organization that benefits kids in children's hospitals. I was one of those kids. And this is going to be one of those things that just hits home. I was one of those kids. When I was 10, I missed the last week of 4th grade being in a children's hospital. And even before that, I had hospital visits that I don't even remember. So that's kind of like why I wanted to do this, because like I said, I knew getting involved was kind of like the right thing to do. I knew that I was given a voice for a reason, and I know that there are so many people that have what I have that are way worse off that don't get to speak up. So I kind of want to, I don't want to say I want to be the voice of it, but I kind of want to, you know, be able to say, hey, like I said, I want to be able to say, hey, we can change this.
Certainly.
You know, and even if it's just like a drop in the bucket, you know, that changes the bucket in some way.
That's a great reason to get started. And thank you so much for sharing with us. Hopefully it, you know, if it's uncomfortable, please, we don't have to talk about it.
Oh, no. Like I said, this is the reason why I started this. And that's actually why my name is FaultyCodeGamer. It's not just a play on, you know, it's not just a play on computer code. It's actually a tribute to those chronic illnesses. Like if this had been even 10 years ago, I probably wouldn't have been able to talk about this without breaking down crying. Streaming has actually helped me come to terms with it a lot more than where I was, like I said, even 10, 15 years ago. Sure. It's been therapeutic to me.
That's wonderful. So tell me about your stream.
So my community is called the Mainframe. And our community, followers are called Faulty's Glitches, and subscribers are called the Byte Club, BYTE. And it's basically, I strive for my community to be as inclusive as possible. There's no judgment. There's no, you know, no stigma. I just want people to be able to be who they are, because, you know, I don't want anybody to feel less than, like I said, less than who they are, because they shouldn't have to.
Certainly. Okay, so you've been doing this for about a year, a little over a year, I think you said. How's it been going?
I would think it's been going good. You know, excuse me. It has its ups and downs. It's like a wave, like a roller coaster. There are definitely days where it's rough. You get inside your head. I think everybody that's in this field, in this job, they have those days where you know, the imposter syndrome sets in, that kind of stuff. You kind of just have to take those days, and you have to realize, okay, I can step back. The world's not going to end, you know, if I take a couple of days to myself. And I actually have to get better about that myself. I realize that, because I get inside my head and I start worrying, you know, oh, if I take, you know, like certain days off, you know, people are going to get ahead of me. I think we all have to get better about that.
And how are you getting around that? Because that is an issue I hear frequently from people in the streaming world is they feel that if they take a day off or any amount of time, maybe a particular stream that they would normally have done because of, mental health or some other reason, they kind of feel like the fans disappear. And is that true though?
I personally have seen that my community is pretty understanding because, like I said, I've always been very open with them, like about my low days, about being chronically ill, about being, if I have an off day and I just say, hey guys, it's just not happening today. Like if I say that I woke up and I had a headache and I just can't stream today, they understand. So,
okay. And so you have merchandise, which means you're potentially selling stuff. How is that going?
I am.
How is it going on the money making side? This is the gamerpreneur after all.
It's going pretty well. It's going pretty well. I actually last month I did charity merch for the Hydrocephalus Association. So actually I have it here. I don't know if you can see that.
I think it's backwards. Maybe.
Yeah, it's a little backwards.
Not just something.
A phase.
A phase.
But I designed this myself.
That's beautiful.
And half of the proceeds of all the sales for these went towards the Hydrocephalus Association.
Wonderful. How is it selling merchandise? I hear from a lot of people in the streaming world, it's difficult. Are you finding that it's difficult, or is it again ups and downs?
It can be. It definitely can be. A lot of my family has bought merchandise, which has been awesome. My mom, oh my gosh. I can't say enough great things about my mom. Whenever I come out with like a new mug or something, she's the first one to buy the design on a mug. Like hold on, because I have my logo on a mug as well.
Oh, there you go.
And she bought 2 of these for the house. Not to drink out of, just to have them on her mug tree. So she just has those hanging out in the kitchen, and it was like the sweetest thing. And then like my sister bought a mouse pad and a sweatshirt. So it's been like streaming. It's had its ups and downs. Like the Moon Phase one sold so well. So many people were interested in that I've actually decided to make that a permanent design in in my store, and I added it to more items. So that was cool. I did not expect people to respond as well to that as they did, but they were like, we want to have it around longer, and we wanted it to come out sooner.
See, that's the funny thing about sales. You never know what's going to hit until it hits.
I was, no pun intended, I was over the moon about it.
Okay, so you've been at this for about a year. What resources did you turn to in order to like figure this whole game out? I try to make the show really about giving advice to my audience in case somebody's sitting here watching and they want to be able to follow in your footsteps. What did you do that someone else can replicate?
YouTube. There are a lot, I know that's going to sound funny, but YouTube, a lot of channels on YouTube. Guile Level, Gaming Careers, Ashney Christ, all of those people, they all, have channels on YouTube. And I taught myself because I was starting from scratch and I knew nothing about what I was doing. I made my own graphics because it was a necessity. I was broke and I have a degree in graphic design. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to make my own panels and start there.
Wonderful.
So it was, you start simple.
Okay. If there's anything that you could say, what do you wish you had known when you were first starting out?
be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. You're still human. Like, you can't pour from an empty glass. You have to take care of yourself first.
Okay, wonderful.
Social media is draining.
Oh,
There's no
yes,
shame in
yes, it
turning
is.
your phone off.
I'm right there with you. I'll admit I'm still doing everything myself
Yes.
on the back here.
I mean, I consider myself extremely fortunate that my husband actually has a degree in teleproduction. So while I handle like all the graphic stuff, he handles like the back end stuff, like the technical issues or whatever. So I don't have to worry about that. But before we were, in the same domicile, I was also handling all of that stuff. So I was like calling him going, what do I do? I help, because it's an hour before I start streaming and the internet is down. So it was a problem.
Sure. Let's talk about, I think you called them faulties glitches, right?
Yes.
Let's talk about your community. What are they like?
Oh my gosh, I love my community. I couldn't do what I do without my community. Last December, I did my very first charity event, and I just decided I didn't have anything planned. I just decided at the very beginning of December that I was going to do something, because it was December, it was the season of giving. Everybody was doing charity streams. So I'm like, you know what? Even if I get like $5, it's still something. Mm-hmm. They helped me raise $160.
Well, that's incredible.
For the Hydrocephalus Association. And it was honestly the most humbling thing I think has ever happened in my life. Like, it's still something I'm probably one of the most things I'm most proud of in my streaming career.
Wonderful. Okay, so you've had a bit of experience as a streamer. What advice would you have for a new streamer? Maybe someone who starting from scratch.
Find a community. Find your tribe. That's what
does that mean? I'll admit I know exactly what that means, but I want to ask you. I want your words on that one.
Well, I'm part of the Athena Alliance, which is a group of, it's an all-female group of streamers. We're situated all over the country, but because we're connected, we have each other's backs. So we check in with each other. We make sure, that if something is going, wrong with someone in real life, that they're okay, up here, like that they're still, able to function as a human, that they're not just, we don't just care about them as a streamer, we care about them as a human being.
That's wonderful. Okay, let me talk about you as a human being for a little bit. We've talked about your streaming, we've talked about your backstory. See, I believe that we are defined by our failures more so than our successes, because it's our failures that teach us. I like to relate it to experience in a video game. When you fail, that's really when you're getting experience. So it's when you get smacked in the face, knocked down, that you have to figure out how to pull yourself back up, dust yourself off, and be able to move forward. So I'd like to ask you, what do you consider your biggest failure in life, and what did you learn from it?
Wow. That's difficult, because if I say I don't have one, then I'm going to sound like a jerk.
You wouldn't be the first person to say that, so don't worry.
But
maybe what was something that you failed at while setting up your stream?
There have been countless times where I have forgotten to turn my audio on, or I've forgotten to turn on my team's audio, and I don't realize it until like halfway through the stream, and someone goes, "Oh, I can't hear you," or "I can't hear who you're playing with," and then I'm just like, "Oh, we're 30 minutes into the stream and nobody could hear me and nobody's told me.
Thank you, random stranger, for bringing that up.
Exactly. Luckily, it's always been someone who knows me, like a regular person. They'll just be like, "Faulty, we can't hear you. Is your mic muted?" And I'll just be like, "Can I cuss? Like, is that okay?"
I prefer not.
Okay, I'll just be like, "Shoot." So.
Thank you. I do try to keep it clean. I've had some people. I had, talking about just fails, like, I've totally forgot to hit the record button when I've been doing these sometimes.
That's happened to me too.
And I've had to like,
it's happened to me
hey,
too.
I'm so sorry.
Actually, I know it was a bigger one. It was a bigger one. It was my anniversary stream for when I hit affiliate. And I forgot to hit the tweet button for my tweet.
Oh no.
And I didn't realize it until after. And I was just like, because the entire time I was streaming, I was like, why is nobody here? And then I realized after, I was like, I never tweeted this out. So I went to bed feeling like a little kid that nobody came to their birthday party.
Oh.
It was so bad.
Oh, those things happen. Mistakes happen. We just got to move forward. Yeah. All right, Jaime, another question for you. What is something that you're working to improve on yourself today?
My self-confidence, my self-esteem. That's always been a struggle, always been a something that I need to improve on.
What steps are you taking?
I try to see myself as my husband sees me. He says it all the time that he loves everything about me, flaws, scars, and all. And I appreciate that. So, because for the longest time, I was always really self-conscious about, like my surgery scars and everything. Because I have one that I suppose you can't really see, but it was something that I was always aware of. And then he was like, it doesn't bother me. It's part of you. So like I said, I try to see myself as he sees me.
That's wonderful. Do you watch anime?
Oh, yes.
Have you ever seen Gurren Lagann?
I don't think so.
That is one you absolutely have to watch. It's one of the best self-confidence boosts in an anime I've ever had.
We're currently going through the Inuyasha sequel as it comes out on Hulu.
Wonderful.
So we're excited about that.
Okay, I got another kind of fun question to kind of wrap us up before we bring this in for a landing.
Okay.
What is something that you think that people misunderstand about you the first time they meet you?
That I'm quiet.
They think you're quiet.
Yes.
But you're not.
I am not quiet. If I am comfortable around you and like we've gotten to know each other for a long time, you will not be able to get me to shut up. My nickname in high school was Ticker Tape Girl because I had a comment for everything. So yeah, if I'm relaxed around you and like I'm just chill, I'm just they'll be like, Jaime, stop. Somebody get her some food or some coffee so she'll stop.
Actually, yeah, the only time you've been quiet so far is when you had that Arby's in your mouth. So I'm teasing.
Either the Arby's or the coffee. That's what it is.
Jaime, this has been fantastic. How do people find you? Where are you on social media? What's your handles?
On the only handle that's different is my Twitter, which is @GamerFaulty. So it's @GamerFaulty. Everything else is FaultyCodeGamer. That is on Twitch. That is on Instagram. For the merch, that there will be a link in my Twitch, on my Twitch channel. And I believe there are links for everything else on my Twitch channel as well.
Beautiful. All right. So as we wrap this up, do you have any final thoughts you want to share or anything I didn't ask you think we still need to cover?
I don't believe so. We have a traditional sign off in the mainframe. Would you
You can.
mind?
I'll do mine right after.
Okay. All right, everybody. It's Saturday night. My name is As always, my name is FaultyCodeGamer. You don't gotta go back to the homepage, but you can't stay here.
Beautiful.
Bye, guys.
Thank you so much, Jaime. I genuinely appreciate you coming on. And for everybody else, don't be just a gamer, be a gamerpreneur.